Boots making noise, talking about pro wrestling on the podcast. Big up boys, big money guys. We be throwing down the rhymes, kicking it live, representing the Lone Star State every damn time.
Whoa, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ring Rundown, round number 21. We're here to drop some knowledge on you guys. So what's up, big dog? What you got going on in this
How you hanging today, DKZ?
Just get out of a 3-hour meeting. That's about it. It's a long 3-hour meeting, and I don't remember none of it because I was so listening so intently.
The correct answer is short, shriveled, and to the left. I mean,
yeah, something like that. But besides that, then I had some other work I had to finish, and then the program that I used just did not cooperate. So work I was supposed to do today is not going to be pushed to tomorrow, so that's going to make tomorrow even more filled up for me. So gotta love it. But besides that, I'm just chilling. Just ate some leftover pizza before I jumped on here, and after we finish up here, probably clean house, and that's about it. Nothing really much going on at the Dropkick Zombie house, really. Worked on the car all day yesterday for about 8 hours straight. Forgot about that. Changed out all the spark plugs, all the spark plug coils. And the car's still doing the same thing. So, I don't know.
It's got to be something else internally that's making it do whatever it's doing.
It's misfiring. And it like the whole way back up here to Texas, it ran fine. Soon as I crossed into Waco, it just started misfiring. And I'm thinking it's maybe something to do with the injectors. That's my next thing to look at. So
yeah, the pistons or the injectors, something causing something to misfire.
That's the next thing is the injectors. So that's my next thing to work on. So I'm all out.
You know, I know tons about cars, so you know, I'm like an AutoZone or an O'Reilly's or something like that over here. So
well, I'm the same. I know enough to get by, and I know enough, and I'm very good at Googling and figuring out stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm sure you are good at Googling.
Yeah, them balls. But yeah, but besides, yeah, so that's my next thing. I'm gonna try to look at the injectors and then see if it's. I mean, it's my grandmother's old car, so I want to get it running. I want to keep it forever. You know what I'm saying? And well, hopefully it works out. We'll see. Hopefully it ain't damaged beyond repair. But, you know, it is what it is.
All right, man. Let's get into this wrestling news. What do we got on our first topic today?
All right. So, the biggest thing going around right now is that McMahon doc. I have just recently finished all 6 episodes, and it was very well done. And even in the very last episode, I think it was his right hand man.
Don't give me no spoilers. I still haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Well, you can tell at the end, one of the last interviews, that they were pretty pissed off that y'all left out the human element of Vince McMahon. You know, that he was a good guy. He did this. There is no human element.
There is no human element to Vince McMahon.
The guy that was talking about it, I could understand where he was coming from. Not really.
I'm sure at a time there once was, but
for a guy not even like he said something. He helped him and his wife out big time, and I can understand if somebody did that for my wife. I can understand not wanting to trash him the whole time. You know what I'm saying? I can understand that, but I mean, all the stuff he did was great, yeah. But now that's tarnished. It's tarnished. It's gone.
His contributions to wrestling is unparalleled to anybody out there in the wrestling world.
And it just sucks now that he tarnished that. He did, and that's all there is to it.
His true characteristics, his true personality, was seeping through even in the online, you know, the character work that was going on. There was no more blending between reality, or like everything between reality and the sports entertainment factor was blending in too much that it was actually, in essence, really him.
Yeah, just turned up a little bit for the camera, but definitely him. And then, but what, like I'm saying, the guy that they questioned about it at the end, the one that made the one of the last, for what he did for his wife and stuff, pretty much saved her life. I can understand why not want to trash him. Then there was another guy that they interviewed, and you're going to know who I'm talking about when you see it. The last episode, they asked him, what is his legacy now that this has all came out? And the guy they asked, he was like, I'm probably not the best guy to ask. And you could
I think
probably...
I did hear. I think I heard something about that, but I just can't remember who it was that they were
You're
talking about.
going to be like, oh, of course it's him that said that. You're going to know right away. But I mean, it was a great piece of work looking at the history. And then even they said the only stuff they really know about this guy's past is the stuff that he tells them. So nobody really knows Vince McMahon. So, I mean, and then, it is evident at the end that they are going to be pissed off about it. That, it painted him in an all negative way. But I mean,
Well, yeah, it was the observers was stating that people in WWE are unhappy, as it seems it was just a complete burial of him.
I mean,
general,
they did show some of the impressive stuff and some of the genius he had, but there was just so much negative they couldn't help but do it. Like, it's how it came off, and I don't even think the producers necessarily meant for it to be a burial. It's just there was so much controversy in this man's past that it could come off like that. And it probably did come off like that.
I mean, just pretty much what they did was expose. They just pretty much said, like, look,
they reported it how it was.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, of course, somebody who it's going to reflect poorly on there, of course, you and your whole company that you helped build is essentially going to feel like they were just pretty much backstabbed and just made to seem like it was a total and complete betrayal against the person you're seeing on the screen. And it's not the fact that it's just the fact, look, like, we have essentially an obligation to our viewers to state, like, look, we're not skirting past these allegations and everything going on, that essentially this is a part of who he is, if not the person who he is. So
it was just like, okay, they showed a lot of good, but it's just so much bad that it overtook the bad. So it came off as a burial. And I mean, I don't think it was intentional. I don't think they started out with those intentions, but it's just the more you dig, the more and then just looking back at some of the stuff that I saw, back in the Attitude Era, like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, this is awesome, sneaking in, watching it behind my mom's back. The stuff, I'm like, God, that was disgusting, cringy, and that it kind of made me uncomfortable, some of the stuff.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that you look back now on all the Attitude Era stuff, and even pre-Attitude Era, hell, even into the Ruthless Aggression Era. I mean,
what was that?
You look back and you're just like, why was I cheering this on? It's because, you evolve as a person. Evolution is a real thing. Every human being evolves growing up throughout their life. Now, actually, I can necessarily say everybody does, because you also have a lot of people who don't want to change.
I mean, like, okay, for instance, the Ashley Massario, there was and it shows us in the end that they're like, this is not a spoiler, you've probably seen it on TV. There's where she runs into Vince and he spills the coffee, and what, you're gonna cry, he gets in her face, and I'm just like, that's just disturbing. Him making out with Trish Stratus disgusted me, in front of his wife. Back when I did, I was like, oh man, this is crazy. But now I'm just like, that's just disgusting. And then what really was that Ashley Massario thing, when he was yelling at her in her face, and you'll see what I'm talking about. That was just disturbing to me. And I was just like, having to yell at a lady. I mean, I get that it was a work. And then he's like, you're suspended indefinitely for spilling the coffee on him, for her bumping into him and spilling his coffee. And I'm just like, you'll see. It's just it really disturbed me. And just looking back at that. And I mean, I get it. It was kayfabe. It was part of the storyline, but still, it was really weird. He had to get in that girl's face.
I think one of the more disgusting things in it is the storyline that they were talking about, where Stephanie was going to be pregnant, and it was going to turn out that Vince was the father of the baby.
Oh, I'm so glad they didn't go through with that.
And there's more that I want to say on it, but seeing as how we have differing political views, you're
Yeah.
not gonna. I'm sure you already know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and I don't agree. And like you're trying
It's
to
just
compare him to
disgusting.
somebody else, and that's no. But
But in the same aspect, though, when that other person has said, "Oh, if she wasn't my daughter, I would be dating her," or making
that
comparisons,
is weird. But they're gonna go through this and put it on TV. You know what I'm saying?
but I mean, it's still creepy, regardless of the fact.
And then the guy we're talking about, I'm not. I may disagree politically, but I'm not the biggest fan of him myself. I wish we had somebody better. But it is what it is. That's who we have. And I think it's better than the alternative. And if y'all can't deal with that, I'm sorry. But it just...
Yeah. The bottom line is the storyline that he wanted to do pushing that was just creepy as hell.
Yeah, and it's a lot of stuff was creepy. Oh, the Triple H in you remember the what's that? The like in the funeral home. The funeral home scene with Triple H dressed as Kane.
Vaguely.
Yeah, well, he is basically having relations with a dead body. That
Okay, yeah.
they showed that again, and I was like, when I was a kid, I'm like, that's weird, bro. That's uncomfortable. And
Well, I mean, same thing with the whole Mae Young giving birth to a hand.
yeah, that was weird. The whole seeing sexual chocolate up against the getting, I don't know what we could say on here. Getting dealt with, and him just I'm like, I was looking at this shit when I was a kid, and I mean, of course, like my mom would let me watch WCW, but I'd change it to WWE when she was leave the room. Is what I would do. I would switch back and forth, but it's I don't know. I can understand. Like I don't under. What did they expect? Like like with all this bad stuff, it's gonna overtake the good. Like I don't see how they're mad. All the bad stuff in this man's past is gonna overtake the good, and his present for that matter. It's gonna overtake the good. I mean, and they can't be surprised about that.
You could essentially compare it to the Chris Benoit thing. A fantastic wrestler. Guess what killed his legacy?
Yeah, the whole incident, and I mean. I don't. It's still, I thought it was a great piece of work. I really did. I think they did their due diligence. Like they said, there was only so much. They only had the stuff that for his past is the stuff that he talked about, the stuff that he said, the stuff that he was willing to tell him. So there was nothing really substantial. And I mean, all his, his father and all his family, they're gone, so you can't really talk to them. So, I mean, but it was a great watch. 6 episodes. I'd recommend it to anybody. I think it's a must watch.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna check it out after we're done recording.
I would definitely recommend it. All right, moving on to some scandalous stuff. Also,
yeah, this episode seems to be the scandalous episode. It seems like holy shit.
And then I think we got a little bit. Oh, we had the topic after this was scandalous. So. This is the Ring Rundown round number 21. Scandalous.
21 is the scandal episode.
We had the Juggalo episode. Now we got the scandalous episode. But
yeah, so this one obviously, as our viewers know and everybody out there who is up to date on current wrestling activity, obviously Nikki Bella's ex-husband was arrested, potential DV issues. Going through a divorce, and now apparently he is requesting spousal support. I don't think they mention how much he's requesting, but apparently this is from Life in Style publication, media, whatever, something like that. One of those types of online medias. Yeah.
Did y'all really think he wasn't going to? Like, saying she definitely has more money than him. I mean, he's just a dance instructor. Like, do y'all think he was not going? He wants a prize. He wants a prize on the way out.
I mean,
Sorry.
they met when she was a contestant on Dancing with the Stars. So he was her dancing instructor, partner, whatever. So obviously, yeah, she is definitely more in the millions than he is in the thousands.
So he just wants a exiting prize, you know.
Mhm.
But I mean, do you think he'll
And
get it?
apparently, this is causing Nikki here to seek sole custody of their child.
And you see, I never liked that. I mean, I get it, you know, but I think they should equal parent. I mean, depending on how the guy is. Like, I don't know him personally. But I'm always, just because I'm a fond believer, a failed relationship doesn't need to be, a failed partner doesn't need to become a failed parent. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so if he's on the up and up, you know, and is a good father, then he should be.
If he's a good dad to their kid, then
they should raise their kid together, separately but together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
It's a co-parent thing when your parents are divorced.
And I've seen, like, in a lot of sticky divorces, that I hate when either one of them, either side, tries to use the kid as a bargaining chip. I don't enjoy that.
It happens, yeah. Like you
It
said,
happens all the time.
Yeah, the mother is just as guilty as doing it, just as much as the father.
And I've seen that too many times.
Yeah, you have, and it just sucks though when you do have a dad who wants to be involved in their child's life, but their ex doesn't allow them to see it, or to see their kids.
Somebody that I will say is nameless is a perfect example. Somebody I know, they may or may not be related to me. He split up with his wife, and they have a kid together. And it's so sad because I hear the conversations. Anything he says no to, or doesn't want to do, or doesn't want, like, if he doesn't, like, if she asks for something and he doesn't give it or he doesn't do it, the first thing what she does, taking the court, taking the kids. Any freaking time he breathes wrong. And that's just so wrong, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I hope that's not the case here that's going on here. I mean, I don't know Nikki personally. Total Divas, we all know that. I mean, that's reality, but we don't really know. This guy, I don't know at all. I just hope they could come to some solution, you know what I'm saying, between each other. This guy probably, he was used to the champagne and, the lifestyle. Now he ain't gonna have that no more, so he probably wants a parting gift, which ain't cool, bro. Go get a job. Go teach some people to dance. But
right.
And I'm pretty sure he's a high profile enough dance instructor now that he can go find some high profile clients that are willing to pay.
You never know. I mean, with his, potential arrest or whatever it was that happened.
There's that, yeah.
Could have, again, tarnished his legacy, One significant screw up like that will tarnish your legacy for what you once were.
There's some steel mills here in Texas that are hiring. I mean, now, do I think anybody need to pay child support in this? No, I don't think he needs to be paying no child support. I can't afford it. I don't think she, I don't think she necessarily needs it. The kid's gonna have whatever they want to begin with, so I think that's all fine.
So do you think she's going to move in with Bryan Danielson and her sister Bree?
Did he get the house?
I don't know. It's if maybe they're going to sell the house in order to split the the equity or whatever, the assets.
I wouldn't think so. I mean,
that was just me just simply asking.
I wouldn't, because I mean, if I were, maybe for a while I would allow her to crash, but like I think Bryan, they have their own life. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they would want her, there all the time. So, I mean, who knows?
Well, and wasn't it, what is it on Total Divas or Total Bellas, something like that, when Bryan and Bree were together, weren't they living with John Cena and Nikki for a while there? And
I think so. I never watched the show religiously. I would just, when my wife would watch, I'd pop in here and there and watch a couple scenes.
Yeah, but I think like one of it was like every month, once a month, John would like to have like a formal dinner night where everybody dresses up in their garb and sits down and has a nice family dinner, something like that. And Brian's like, this is kind of ridiculous, but also at the same time, you're living in the man's house or guest house, whatever. You gotta kind of play by their rules.
Yeah, if he wants to have in his house have a very nice dinner, then I'm gonna have a nice dinner. They let me stay here, so I guess I'm having a nice dinner too, and you ain't gonna hear me complain about it. But I would be a little bit like, this is weird, but I would keep it to myself, you know. But it is, and that was probably TV, you know what I'm saying?
Possibly, I
But
just don't know.
But from what I hear, everybody says Cena, how he was on that TV, that's him in real life. A lot of people have gone on record and say that. But, well, I just hope they find a peaceful solution to this. I hope if the guy did, put hands on her, I hope he pays for it. That's never okay. But I do, and when it comes to, especially with the kid, I hope they find, a middle ground here and they settle, peacefully. So, all right, next scandalous topic on this scandalous edition of the Ring Rundown. Ooh, Rybox opening his mouth again about the WWE. Looks like he came out on his podcast and he claimed that Triple H was having an affair with a female superstar.
Possibly.
Allegedly.
He thinks allegedly that there may have been something going on between Triple H and one Caitlyn. I don't know if you remember Caitlyn from like Tough Enough season 4,500 or whatever, but obviously she would go on to become WWE Divas champion, and was let go. Came back for the Mae Young Classic in 2018 or 19. But according to Rybat, he came out on his podcast and is alleging that there is a supposed NDA signed by both parties and potentially some adulterous behavior going on between Hunter and former WWE diva Caitlyn.
I bet back, maybe not so much now, but I bet back then that back locker room was a screw fest, dude. I bet there was all kind of stuff going on. Now I have seen, and they showed videos. I saw a video on YouTube where they were like, you can see here at this time, Stephanie was not wearing her ring in the ring, and you can see both him and her were not wearing their rings at one point in time. That they secretly, divorced. They say the guy that we named, but who shall not be named going forward. Well, maybe for the next topic, but they're saying that him and his wife have been on the outs divorced for years, and they just don't make it public. You know what I'm saying?
The person who shall not be named and his wife?
Yeah.
Or
said
we're talking about...
No, we're talking about it's just an example comparing the both. You know what I'm saying?
There's no secret about that. Is that they've...
Yeah, but there's never been no public statement about it.
No, but it's well known at the fact that they haven't been together. They've been separated for years. Like, we're talking essentially, I believe, Attitude Era years.
Yeah, that they just on screen, on camera, they kept their relationship or whatnot. So I don't think that's the same thing with that. I think, there's been a lot.
Could have been. I mean, Hunter and Stephanie probably could have been going through a trial separation or
just a rough patch.
Who knows? I mean, we don't, unless we're never going to get the full story unless both parties come out and give their side of the story.
There's so much. What you got to think about. And I'm not excusing this behavior. These wrestlers are on the road all the time, away from their partners. So you tend to grow apart, and you know what I'm saying? And not excusing it, but other people that are around you all the time that are also they start to look good. I mean, I think that's what happened with
Edge and Lita,
Seth Rollins. That happened with Seth. Bray Wyatt, not trying to speak. John Cena. That's happened a lot.
Mickey
and maybe
James.
Mickey James.
Victoria.
Melina.
The
list goes on. And that's, I can
And
imagine.
and again, well, like you were saying, it's understandable because these people spend more time on the road together than they do with their own families. You
And
know,
then, but guess who? One person that it has not, and he kept his relationship this whole time in his marriage.
there's a handful of those
A
as well too.
AJ Kevin Owens. You thought I was gonna say AJ Styles, huh?
You essentially did. You just didn't say the last name. But yeah, AJ, Kevin Owens, Kofi Kingston has, I believe. Owen Hart was a big one. Bret Hart as well, I believe.
I guess you could say Xavier Woods, kinda. I mean, for all accounts, they're still together,
but I mean, yeah. So
I mean,
this is just definitely more something to say. I mean, obviously we know Ryback has grudges against WWE in general, so this could just
eternal
be him
grudges.
just trying to cause some trouble, or there could be some validity to his claim. So again, just have to wait and see if anything more of this comes out.
We're never gonna get no more of this. We're only gonna have
I don't
his
think
word.
so either.
No, we're only gonna have what he says, and it's up to y'all if y'all believe him or not. So, I mean, that would be something good for you guys to comment on. All the stuff that we heard, whether it be,
Comment on our scandalous episode. Comment, let us know, what do you think is going on with all these scandalous topics we got,
and
on for
or
today's
do you
episode.
guys believe the stuff that Ryback says? I mean, look at the stuff he said about John Cena in the bus with oh boy, what was his name? Alex.
Orlando Jordan?
No,
Or
Alex.
Alex Riley?
Yeah, I mean, do y'all believe this stuff? Sound off in the comments. Let us know. I mean, it is interesting, but I don't know if the source is that credible. But he may be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but he's getting clicks with it.
Again, we just want to thank our listeners out there for listening, subscribing, sticking through this with us as we, navigate this world of online media and the world of wrestling. So, again, thank you to everyone out there.
Appreciate it, guys.
I believe we only just got one more topic left in our scandal episode.
One more scandalous topic. They essentially tried to buy Mr. McMahon tried to buy the documentary from Netflix.
Yeah, so of course he issues a statement pretty much saying he doesn't regret partaking in the Netflix docuseries, and then of course to pivot away from all the, I guess you could say, credible accusations against him, he tries to spin it and say that no, the producers, the editors of the Netflix docuseries were spinning everything out of proportion, making it seem like something was there, but it wasn't. Pretty much just standard gaslighting that what you saw isn't the truth.
I mean,
and yeah, apparently he reached out to Netflix producers, executives, in attempts to buy the story, buy the rights for the Mr. McMahon docuseries, and essentially just so he could try to bury it and kill it because he didn't want any negative press to come out.
Thank God that did not happen.
Oh yeah, yes, thankful to the Netflix execs and producers and stuff like that who stuck to their moral integrity, said no, sorry.
And I'm not just going to say it's moral integrity.
This is something pivotal that people need to see,
I'm not going to go ahead and say that it was all moral integrity. I think there was some of that, but they knew they had a surefire hit on their hands. You know what I'm saying? That was going to do well. So I'm sure there was some of that too.
Well, it was going to do well anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, where I'm saying the moral integrity is the fact that they
turned down the dollar signs.
They refuted his acquisition to try and purchase the rights for the docuseries.
They turned down the money, which is hard to do. But and then you hear how Netflix is struggling these days. So, yeah. But of course he was going to.
And seeing, I don't think Netflix is struggling as bad as it is. I mean, they keep wanting to raise the price on their subscriptions
Because they're struggling. That's why they did the whole thing, no more password sharing and all that.
But here's the thing, though, is the fact that when you signed up for Netflix, though, you had the option of being able to have up to 4 devices on one account.
Yeah, but it's still more expensive. And then now, like, if you have the low tier, every 5 minutes seems like there's commercials, there's ads. But there was a while there, it was no secret they were struggling pretty bad. That's when the price tiering came out and the no more password sharing, all of that happened. But I think they're doing better now. They were able to get Raw, but I think the thing that they're wanting to save them is that they're really wanting to get into the live sports, and they think that's their next big step for them. But yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Live sports is definitely valued in the billions. You know.
Oh yeah, I think that's the thing that they're really banking on to save Netflix. Because I mean, there's so much, they've lost so much programming because there's so many other subscription services now that it's insane.
Well, not only that, but yeah, there's a lot of cross where, okay, I could watch it here on Netflix, but you know, for a subscription that I'm already paying for, you know, like a Peacock or hell, even Tubi, you know, you can find a lot of the stuff on Tubi that they have on Netflix or
Tubi
Hulu or Amazon Prime or.
Tubi is essentially that's where the shows, when they pulled off all those main streaming sites, that's where things go after that.
Hey, I watch.
I think some of the best horror selection is on Tubi, in my opinion. Some of the best horror lineup is on there. That's where I go for.
Tubi, Shudder, Peacock has a decent selection. Hulu has a pretty good selection, but. Definitely Tubi is definitely up there for
Netflix
when it comes content.
When it comes to horror, they have a hit or miss. Every now and then they put something out good when the horror, but a lot of times it's a miss. But I digress. So of course the guy was gonna try to buy the I mean, that would have been, if that would have went through, that would have been the most ultimate heel bad guy. You're a piece of crap move in media history. That would have been. Oh, bruh, everybody would have been pissed.
Yes, so thank you to the Netflix execs and producers for refuting that dirty, nasty, skanky money from one VKM, he who shall not be named, and putting it out for everyone to watch and enjoy and see. But I think that takes us out for our last episode here on our scandalous round 21 of the Ring Rundown podcast.
Yep, like, comment, subscribe, people. Help us get that algorithm going. Want to thank everybody for, people that do comment, people that do watch. We appreciate you guys. We know your time is valuable, and we very much appreciate if you guys give us a listen. There's a lot of different wrestling podcasts out there. There's a lot of other options out there for you guys to watch and listen to, and we appreciate that you guys chose us. So,
and our topic of discussion for our next episode coming up in a few days is going to be, which female talent would you like to see join the Bloodline?
Oh! No, I'm joking. I will save it for that.
I think
to be continued. But yeah, so appreciate you guys. That's all we have for you on this scandalous edition of the Ring Rundown, round number 21. All right, you guys, for SP, I'm Dropkick Zombie. Good night, everybody. Yeah.
We two loony guys catching eyes with a hype, talking pro wrestling, making all the fans unite. In the ring we swing like a rhyme making machine with moves so mean, leaving opponents in the